Welcome back. You're watching the Mountain Morning Show on Park City Television, and I'm sitting with Bill Humbert, the recruiter guy. Welcome to the Mountain Morning Show. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Ryan.
Great to see you. So you have a regular recurring visit here talking about jobs, employment, and improving your career. Where are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about this is the best time of the year to network, to get your interviews for the holidays, over the holidays.
So we're not just talking about people who are unemployed, right?
That's correct. You know, about 70%, according to surveys, about 70% of the workers in the United States are not happy with their jobs. And so some of them stay in because they feel like they've got those handcuffs and they can't leave. But this is the best time of year to be out there talking to people and interviewing.
Well, we've had a good run here of the economic climate has been such that I think people have been reluctant to move or change jobs because of uncertainty. But would you say that that's kind of loosening up as the economy improves a little bit?
It's beginning to. You know, Utah has a great economy for jobs. And this is really a good time to be out there kind of sticking your toes in the water to get a sense for what's going on.
So as we've said in the last hour and previewing for this dialogue, this is the best time of year to do this, and tell me why.
You know, Ryan, it's very simple. And think about the season. This is the time of year when people are generally warm and fuzzy, right?
Holiday spirit.
The holiday spirit.
Sure.
And you're getting out and there's parties and there's opportunities to meet everybody. Last Friday was a great opportunity on Main Street, but nobody would recognize you.
As we talked about.
That's right, on the Halloween stroll. But, you know, as you go through these parties, there's a lot of opportunities to meet old friends, meet new friends. And what's most important is that companies have now finished their budget for the next year, and managers now, January 1st, will start having openings.
Well, I think you're a little optimistic that companies have finished their budgets. I remember back in my corporate days that we would start the process in late August, and we would barely finish by the end of January with all the redirects and the productivity we had to bake in.
Right.
But to your point, yeah, this is when companies are thinking about next year, and those HR openings kind of trickle down to managers so they can start thinking about who they're going to hire, right?
Exactly. Managers know what they put in their budgets.
That's right.
You know, they're kind of like, they're ready. And I will tell you, when I've done corporate recruiting in January, usually what happens is the recruiting shuts down last quarter, and then January 1st, the managers are on the recruiters like bears on honey. I mean,
because that's when the interviewing can commence.
It can commence before that. It's the hiring that can commence.
Oh, I see.
See, that's the difference. And some recruiters are smart to that. Some haven't figured it out yet. But what you want to do is you want to network now, interview in December,
right,
and then from there start in January. Now, I got a great story. I had a woman interview on Christmas Eve with ComSat Labs in Germantown, Maryland.
Okay.
In the morning. She interviewed all morning long. They loved her, and I knew they would. And she was invited to their potluck holiday lunch, and then they were all going to go home.
Christmas Eve?
On Christmas Eve. And while she was having the lunch, the manager was meeting with the managers who interviewed her. And as she finished lunch and she was getting ready to head home to Blacksburg, Virginia, she was given an offer for a job. Christmas Eve.
Wow.
She called me Christmas Day in the evening and said, "I've got a Christmas present for you. I'm accepting the job."
And by the way, I'm going to be commuting from Blacksburg to Germantown.
No, she moved to Germantown.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah.
So, as you said, good time to network is in the fall, and I've never met a stranger, just a friend that I don't have yet. But some people are afraid to network. And what if someone is afraid to network? What advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, Ryan, what I've observed, is that people are afraid of the word. They don't understand they've been doing that forever. For instance, if you were a kid, you would go, "Where'd you get that?" Right?
Right.
That's networking. So we've been doing it all our lives.
That's right. That is networking indeed. So so let's take it forward when we're adults. You can't really say, "Where'd you get that?" at a
Right.
grown-up party. I haven't tried it, but I wouldn't recommend it. How would you sort of open up a networking dialogue at some kind of social event?
Well, first of all, you don't think of it as networking, because then you get nervous, right? Because I got to network now. You think of it as talking to friends. And so you'd start it with, "Ryan, what have you been up to? Facing any challenges at work right now? Anything I can help you with?" And that gives them the opportunity to ask for your help.
Mm-hmm.
If you help them, are they going to be willing to help you?
Yeah.
So you let them in on a little secret. "Hey, I'm working, but you know what? I'm doing a confidential search. And right now, the accomplishments I've had recently are blah, blah, blah. However, I'm looking to go to work for another company that maybe I can increase what I'm doing.
Right.
Who should I talk to?"
Now, it's funny, Bill, this is I'm a little bit sweaty because I've just taken a new job. And I lived the example that you just gave for a few months, because I was open to new opportunities, although I said I wasn't officially looking, but I was curious to see what was out there, and I offered to help people if I was talking with them and they could use help, and that was effective. So I agree. So at some point, you have to make a request. You can't just give and give and give. There's a point where you sort of turn the corner. How would you recommend someone turns the corner?
That's actually not that difficult. You've already told them about what you're doing recently. You told them you have a confidential search. You just ask them directly. "So Ryan, is there somebody that you know that maybe I should talk to? And can I use your name when I call them?" And that's called a warm referral.
So when that happens, when you have success, how do you kind of circle back and let them know, or do you buy coffee for everyone that you talk to?
You could. It's nothing wrong with that, but it's important to thank people, because lots of times what happens is, and people come to me all the time based on what I do, and a lot of times they'll go and get a job and they won't come back and tell me, so I don't know if they ever got the job or not. So it's really important to provide some closure, and it works not only for your network, but it also works for you.
Well, and I've lived, I did not share this with you before, but I lived a little bit in the recruiting world when I did consulting on the East Coast. And part of circling back with someone who helped you get a new job is that now you know where they work, and if they need help, you can have them sort of in the back of your mind and refer someone to that next company.
Exactly.
It all it builds
works
on itself.
Exactly. So it's really important to close that loop, and then you're keeping your network intact. If you don't close the loop, then what happens?
You just sort of disappear into the ether.
Right. And then all of a sudden now you want to come back to that network again and ask for help finding a new job, and they're going, "You never got back to me the last time."
So the Park City Career Network. Tell me about this group.
The Park City Career Network, we started in August of 2009. And what happened was a couple people came to me, I just moved here, and they said, there's a lot of people looking for jobs. Would you help us create a network to help people find jobs? And so essentially we take my book and we just follow the process in the book to help people find jobs. And we've had, since August 2009, given the size Park City is, we've helped 98 people find jobs.
That's terrific. So Bill Humbert is the recruiter guy, and he's written the guide to finding a job. And Bill, thanks very much for coming out and joining us. We can find you on what websites?
www.RecruiterGuy.com.
And he also has a great email newsletter that I've been receiving for some time. And Bill, thanks very much for joining us.
Right.
Coming back in a few minutes, we're going to be in the kitchen with Rita, and you're watching Park City Television. We'll be back after these messages.